Hi everyone. Alpha 16 for RimWorld just released, and I wanted to create a little bit of a one-part Let's Play, one-part tutorial playing on sea ice. So here's my factions that I have nearby. 3 allied, 2 hostile, a tribe, and a pirate band hostile. As you can see, I'm playing on Cassandra Classic on Extreme. I'll load up the world for you. This is going to take a second. So I wanted to have, I've always been playing, and it's been, seeking out what's most challenging within vanilla RimWorld. And when they released the ice sheet, that was a lot of fun. It was challenging, but not challenging enough. You could still grow non-hydroponically. So here's the world I have. As you can see, I generated a ice world. I set myself up on sea ice, but I border ice sheet and tundra for possibly hunting. And I don't want to exploit that, but it's there if I need it, because this is more or less going to be an Iron Man without safes coming. So I'm next to a tribe in a big sea of ice around me. And then the terrain here is, cold, not super wicked cold, but cold enough. So here are my colonists. I rolled for them, but I did not roll very long. I only rolled a minute or two. I was actually given Doc right off the bat, which I was surprised. So careful shooter, teetotaler, sanguine. Really good at medicine, pretty good at research. Now the important things here are you need someone really good at research so you can get the hydroponic research as fast as humanly possible. You need someone good at growing. He's not that great at growing. But it is what it is. I didn't want to roll forever. And then you need a good shooter for defense. So Johnny is my grower, as you can see. He's also good at medicine. So I have 2 people. He's like extraordinary at medicine, a visionary. And then my last is a shooter with a green thumb. So everyone can grow. Now the reason why you want someone really good at growing is when they harvest the crops, you don't want any failed harvests. That would be very, very bad. Now, the one issue that I already foresee with my current colonists is no one's particularly good at constructing, so I do run the risk of having a lot of wastages because people can't, build the first time. So what I'm going to do here is immediately throw up a little survival shack, I guess is what you could call it. But I also want to survey my surrounding territory because I do have some packaged survival meals out there, and I do not want rabbits or snow hares to eat them. I'm also going to dole out some work, so everyone's pretty much equally good at constructing. I'm going to make Johnny the grower. Mining and plant cutting won't really matter. Make everyone be able to flick. So one thing I do for the word priorities is I don't mess around with fire or injuries. You don't want your base to burn down. You don't want to die out in the cold. So initially, what I'm going to do is constructing. Doc's the best, or Doc has a passion for constructing. So I'm going to tell the others to haul, and Doc will construct. So I'm just going to plop a sun lamp down. I tell Doc to start. Oh, let's give him the gun first. So one thing I have to do pretty early. Sadly, I have to kill my pet. There's just really not much of a way to keep an animal alive. I've played through this for the first 10 days already, just to get a good idea of how to survive it. Pet's gotta go. It's sad, but it's as simple as that. So right now I'm outlining the rough footprint of my little lamp there. Oops, there we go. So as you can see, I created a little box around it. I want a door here, because most of everything is going to be coming from the east, or north or south. Nothing should be coming from the west, it's just ocean. I'm also going to blueprint some bedrooms. Now here's the thing. Ideally, I would want to separate my growing operation from my bedroom area, but limited space, limited resources, it's hard to heat things. I'm going to do what I can. Now I'm giving everyone their individual cubby bedrooms. The reason being, you know, I need to also think about their mental health. Now, you know, I have one person who's sanguine, and two people that are sanguine, and one that's pretty, and he's kind. I mean, hopefully I'm not going to have too many mental health issues here, but time will tell. So I'm going to proceed time slowly. I don't need to kill Hercules quite yet, only when he gets hungry. But in my first playthrough, I had another dog. I had a little Yorkie, and he just ate too much. It was really just that simple. He ate me out of house and home, and it was impossible to keep him alive. So, because of hypothermia, I'm going to tell my other people to start constructing now, too. I'm not super worried about hypothermia, but, you know, I don't want to take too long here, so that would be problematic. Hey, look at that. Spiffy and Doc. Alrighty. Johnny's going to be the third wheel. Well, that actually is really fortuitous, because they're not going to rebuff each other, and now I'm going to build one less bedroom. I had to think about bedroom placement for a minute. Yeah, I'll just build like that. Yeah, so I just lucked out. And they'll keep each other, you know, happier. Because I believe Doc is... I think he was the one bonded to the dog. Yep, so Doc's about to get upset that I have to kill his dog. Oh, what was that? Ah, yeah, of course Spiffy's rejecting it. Come on, man. She just said yes to someone else. Alright, there we go. Now I have an enclosed space. I'm going to set up a wind turbine and some solar panels. I did it on the west here because I'm far less likely to have incoming threats from the west. Now that the brunt of the work is done, I'm going to have Doc start researching hydroponics. So I'm going to remind him that he needs to be researching. Man, my people suck at constructing. That's really going to be a downfall here. But I'll have to deal with that later. So now they're going to be hauling in metal. Now, if I was being really careful, I'd make sure that every time they went out, they were hauling rather than hauling to construct, so they got, you know, a full handful of whatever resources they're looking for. So I want to get some power going. Looks like Johnny will be building the wind turbine. go. Looking good. Well, you're in luck. I might as well do it now. Make a guy kill his own dog. Come on. Go to sleep inside. You're gonna freeze your ass. I didn't get power up in time for the daylight. But once the sun rises, I should be able to get... There we go. It was teasing me. Well, Doc lost a dog, but gotta love her. So next on the agenda will be to haul everything in and then break down these ship parts. But I'm also going to turn off my sun lamp. I'll work in the dark. I don't need to be using all that juice. So this is a pretty solid start. Come on, Spiffy. I might have Doc give Spiffy his coat, because Doc's probably going to be on that research bench a lot, and Spiffy's probably going to be running around outside. Fortunately for Spiffy, Doc is a really good doctor. So I'm going to set everyone up to use herbal only, and I'll use the real medicine for when it's serious or when they're actually ill. So I have to take stock of my resources. I should think about backup battery in case I have a surge. So I have another battery bank with a power switch to it. That will be important. I do need butcher table and electric stove. But I'm thinking I'm going to put them outside because although I will work slower outside, their footprint is rather large to be inside. But I might put them outside in a place where I could naturally expand to. You know, a future expansion once I have the resources. So, there we go. Gonna put them there. Which also means I have to run a little bit of a wire here. But I think that's close enough. Now, like I was saying, I should give my new girlfriend over here the coat. I'm gonna make sure it's clear forced, so she's not forced to wear it. So who has the lovely job of... Doc, you have to butcher your own dog. That's brutal, man. So there isn't much left out on the map few meals, things like that. Instead of having her walk around, I'll tell her to go pick stuff up. So the next thing I want to do is move my food, my packaged survival meals indoors, just so that wild animals can't take them. So that would be most upsetting. But I'll do that as soon as everyone rises in the morning. So another thing will be not only managing resources, but a really important concept here will be to manage electricity, because I won't have a lot of electricity. So one of the reasons I put my stove here, I can switch it on and off from inside, which will prevent people from letting heat out. So, Johnny, you're going to be on blood cleanup. I don't need to butcher the dog quite yet. It's under a roof and it's definitely frozen, so it's not going to spoil. And I don't see any possibility of animals coming up on him quite yet. So I'm getting pretty close to getting that hydroponics, which is pretty good. I've got a full battery, which I like. There's not much else to do other than move some resources around. Not going to worry about defenses. I don't even have the research for gun turrets yet anyway. So most ice sheet bases initially will look pretty similar. There's not a whole lot of options, I guess is the best way to say it, because of how few resources you have. It really limits what you can do with the resources. Well, that will be 7 good meals there. So I'm going to be planting rice. Grows the fastest. I'll get more food out of rice than I would potatoes or strawberries. To make sure Johnny starts growing. So he's going to be sowing the area soon of all rice. Once he starts sowing, I'll flick the light on. So as you can see, it has a growth rate of 230%. So I should have a good yield of rice pretty soon. Now the issue is, I am making power right now, but really soon I'll be consuming it. So, looking at my current setup, I'm going to reinstall my batteries outside. Put them under a roof. And I don't want to run into a scenario where I am screwed, out of power. So I'm going to use a lot of my remainder electronics and stuff, or components and metal, for this project. Because I do believe every resource that's on the map I have used. Now, Spiffy's going to be my trader. She's the best at it. Hour 20, plants are resting. Gotta flick this off, save some power. Oh, this guy visiting me but doesn't even want to trade? That's ridiculous. So now I'll be storing power in the other batteries as well. I'll flick that switch off when they're nice and full. That way, if I have a power surge, all my crops don't have to immediately die, which is pretty important. You don't want that kind of loss early on. Just checking out my visitor. I wasn't thinking of capturing him, but you never know. If he had a lot of meals on him, I might have thought about it. Let's see. My faction. The Ice Burgers. And we'll call this little community Frost Hearth. How's that? Little Frost Hearth right there. Well, it's daytime. Guess I should flick this back on. Hopefully I get some trade caravans here going. There isn't much going on. There's going to be a lot of downtime for these two colonists. What I can do is move some of the stockpile indoors. But do I really want to do that? The issue with that is I do believe it will affect beauty. Yeah, I'll keep it out there. It will affect beauty in a negative way. Same with the battery. So that way, it's slightly more beautiful indoors than it is out. Unfortunately, Doc is got his hands full. He's a researcher, he's our cook. I don't think he needs to be the animal handler, though. Not that I have any animals to handle, but he's our constructor. At least he's not the grower, too. Miner. Yeah, he's everything. Regular Robinson Crusoe. Now, given that I have 3 mouths to feed and 2 of them are wandering around with literally no job, this would be, in fact, easier with a single survivor. Now, the challenge with that, of course, is if that single survivor becomes hurt, there's really nothing you can do about that. So here I'm just expanding my roof zone so that if it does snow, the immediate area around my base won't be covered. Now it shouldn't snow very much. I did set the snowfall to a minimum on this map, but just in case. I'm going to move my stockpile a little closer, away from the edge. And there's just not a lot going on here. Almost makes me want to caravan somewhere else. Because I am not that far from the tundra, where there could be good food, but initially, I'm going to rely on hydroponics. Alright, plants are resting. Going to rely on hydroponics, and I'm not going to starve my colonists. So one of the strategies that you can implement here is to forbid the food until they're basically starving, and then give them some food in order to make sure that they never go beyond cap. I wanted to play this reasonably. You know, I don't want to suffer. I'm going to treat these people like researchers, you know, or something like that. So they are sleeping in the cold. They're eating without a table. I'm not so sure. I only have 77 materials to build with. I'm not going to use them for a table and chairs. You know, I got to think about repairs and things like that. So as soon as it becomes daytime and the planets aren't resting, I want to blast them with that light. I want to keep that light on as little as possible. I also want to keep the electric stove on as little as possible for the same reason. I want to juice up these batteries, and these batteries aren't really moving up very far, as you can see. Hopefully I get a big gust of wind here. I don't even have enough steel to be able to build another anything. But I do think that my choice on 2 backup batteries was a good call. Because with that material, I could have made a second solar generator or something like that, but I'd rather have the batteries. Now, of course, here's the caveat. A solar flare will ruin me, and I am aware of this. And I did say I don't want to save scum, but if I do get a bad solar flare, there's really dick all I can do. Alright, these colonists are driving me insane. Opening the door over and over and over again is only letting out precious heat. Heat that would otherwise go to their bedrooms. So let's correct this by telling them to get inside, stay inside, and I'll let them out every now and then for cabin fever. But for now, get the hell inside. Alright, so I have microelectronics. I'm going to do gun turrets. Mostly because I would do auto doors, but I don't really have the electricity to power an auto door. Oh, how are you out there? How? Did you forget? What is going on? Yeah, it's like he forgot. He's like, oh yeah, I can leave now. It's like, no you can't. Alright, so I got a wanderer to join me. I don't like him. So I am going to strip him down so I can keep his gear, and then march him out onto a caravan to get himself killed. That is my plan. So let's see. You know, I'm actually going to have him do something worthy with his short little life. I'm going to have him march north, and then I'm going to scout out the tundra with him. Alright, so because I don't want to affect my beauty negatively, I'm going to move all that stuff outside. Everyone ready? Alright, first gonna visit the closest tile. I can't go here, it should be impassable. Yeah, it's impassable. And we'll see what Sheckley has to tell me. This short, very sad life. Oh, sorry Johnny. I'm gonna have to have you flick that off. So far so good, I'd have to say. Solid start. I've already yielded some rice. Ooh, Sheckley, you are just resting outdoors naked. That's brutal. Flick this back on. I'm not entirely sure he's even gonna make it. So let's see. Slept in the cold, cramped interior, can't do anything about that. Hungry. Well, you're gonna wake up eventually. But hey, getting some lovin'. It's certainly helping. So my cook is also my researcher, huh? It's not a very good random roll on people here. Here's what it is. Man, I really wish that these batteries would fill up a little faster. But that's okay. Can't be helped. Come on. Oh, Sheckley didn't make it. So I'm just going to have him settle where Sheckley passed out. Just so that I can see the zone. So I got some jade here. There's really not much else. Oh, there's a hell of a lot of plasteel. With compact machinery. Right in the middle of the map. There's a lot of regular steel. More compact machinery. Alright. I mean, I could build an outpost here, but I'm more interested. There's polar bears and snow hares. Yeah, I mean, if I need to go on a little expedition, I really don't even have to move very far, because I am 1 square away from Ice Sheet, which could bring in some good hunting. But I did want to make this as hard as possible, so initially I am just going to do this the hydroponic way, because that is the challenge. Raider with a club, who, you know, he's not a bad raider. I mean, I'm not going to keep him. He's a mouth to feed, and he's not particularly useful. If he was female, I'd think about it, just for a partner for Johnny, so he gets less lonely. But Shackley will do his part in feeding the local megafauna, you know, the polar bear. Sorry, Shaq. You know, I could have modified the Crashlanded so that Wanderers wouldn't join, but you never know. Every now and then you might get a good Wanderer. So who's the shooters here? Doc and Spiffy? Alright. Doc and Spiffy. Yeah, he's not going to last very long. Now, I hope I wound him and not kill him. Yes, I did. Perfect. Because there's a new mechanic where if you strip a dead body, the gear that you strip becomes marked as a dead person's clothing, and instantly becomes undesirable, much like if you're naked or something like that. But if you strip a wounded body, you avoid that whole scenario. So now Doc has a parka, and if I look, the gear is not labeled from a dead person. So that's pretty good. Let's get that toque in here. There we go. I would say that's a pretty good start. Sheckley survived, honestly, much longer than I thought he would have. Sitting out there. Now, the real hardcore approach to this would be, you know, no one dies, right? But gotta be realistic. Living out here is tough. So, Johnny has the best, ooh, snow hare self-tamed. Isn't that... Oh. You self-tamed on the wrong part of the map. That is awkward. It is possible to get snow hares on Ice Sheet, but I don't see any. Didn't get lucky. I mean, if I had, hey, look at that. This other map is lighting up. She's got pants, but you know what? That's not worth the walk. I'm actually going to abandon this colony so it stops generating events and give my main colony a chance for its own events. I forgot to turn on the lights, didn't I? That's not good. No, it's only been like 3 hours without lights. It's not a huge deal. And I wish that was spinning a little faster. I mean, at least I'm positive generating electricity, but not a whole lot of it. Now that I have gun turrets, I gotta decide. Definitely not drug production. Maybe pemmican, but probably not. Refining. Nope. Electric smelting. Yeah. Only because I do have this scrap metal. And if anyone attacks the base, there'll be more scrap. And eventually that will be useful. Now to prevent going stir crazy, maybe I should put in a horseshoe pin in here. Just as a joy activity, because my people are pacing a lot. And I want them to have something to do. Now, surprisingly, my colonists are extraordinarily happy, and that's good to see. Whoa, okay. You just ate raw rice, so let's fix this. And tell you to cook. Excuse me. You like won't cook? Oh, cause yeah. Durr. There we go. Getting some actual food. Our rice plants are almost done, but they're resting. They'll be done tomorrow. You know what? Why don't I put the stockpile here? I'll put the dump here. A little bit less running around. You've got endurance, my good friend. Get that cooking skill up. Avoid all the unnecessary poisonings. So I hope so far that this video has at least taught you how to survive the first 6 days of of the sea ice survival. I think I'm just about wrapping up. Right now I have backup power. Granted, I have to cut the power switch to enable that backup power. But I've got backup power. I've got 3 hydroponics that are productive and going. Oh, 2 hydroponics that are productive and going. One that might need some encouragement. There we go. Yeah, I'm reasonably well set up for long-term survival. Now, a few unlucky random events and like a solar flare or an eclipse, and I might be in a world of pain. But this is what sea ice survival looks like, and I hope that this little tutorial has helped you out. I didn't really go over any of the new mechanics like multiple colonies or settlements or caravanning. That you can look online. I did use it a little bit, but yeah, this has been a pretty successful Iron Man start to extreme sea ice survival. Maybe I will check back in later, when I'm not recording, and show you how I have progressed. Thank you.